Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good to see you.
Apart from the phone in the background.
It's good to see your lace patterns behind you today. They're looking like rather nice.
Yes, positioned it so that hopefully you can see those.
Oh, they're wonderful. Now, thank you so much for agreeing to be my first interviewee as part of the Legacy of Lace project. It's wonderful to actually have this opportunity to ask you lots of questions. Because I'm always in awe of you and the exquisite work you create. So I think this is just wonderful for me to have this opportunity, and for you to be involved in the Legacy of Lace project. So we're going to be in residence at Erewash Museum in Ilkeston from May to June, and we're going to be creating some artwork inspired by lace. So it's quite open at the moment, but I thought I'd just do a little bit of an intro, because you're a bobbin lace maker and designer. You're based in Derby, and you've done all sorts of wonderful projects. I just thought, I know I've been on your classes, and I consider myself as a beginner still. And I'm definitely going to return to making bobbin lace very soon. I just wondered if you could explain to the viewers what bobbin lace is, because I know some people might not be familiar with what it is and what you do.
Everybody thinks of lace from Nottingham being machine lace, or they should think of it as machine lace. Everybody says Nottingham, oh, it's lace. But bobbin lace is the forerunner to machine lace. And it is made by winding threads on individual bobbins, which are then attached to a lace pillow, which I'll show you in a moment. And it's a form of free-form weaving, really. You start off with a lace pattern with lots of holes in it, which you prepare before you start. And then that is the sort of thing that you can make from it. This is a new pattern that I've recently designed.
Oh, I love that one.
Once you've made the pattern, you then attach it to a lace pillow and then start putting pins in and weaving with the bobbins. It looks very complicated when you first start, but there are only 2 stitches, and as Victoria will tell you, it's not as overwhelming once you actually learn the 2 stitches and start learning how to put them together in patterns. And everybody thinks of lace as being perhaps old-fashioned and white, but as you can see from our latest one, it doesn't have to be white, and it also doesn't have to be flat. This is a 3D angel I made recently with lace for the Christmas decorations.
That's beautiful.
I've done lace in 3D with wire and made it into sculpture using exactly the same 2 techniques, 2 stitches to form it. So it can be any scale you like in any material, as long as you can wind it round the bobbins.
Right.
So you're only limited by your imagination as to what you want to create from it.
So,
And when you start thinking along the lines of, I want to produce whatever 3D, then you work out how to use those 2 techniques to build a 3D image or a 3D piece.
oh, that's incredible. So what brought you to lace making, bobbin lace making? What sparked this passion? How long
Back in
ago was
the early
it?
90s, I saw someone demonstrating it at an event, thought it looks interesting. I wonder what's involved. And then I found a residential course for 5 days, went on the course and came back totally hooked. I mean, people say, why do you do it? And I'll say, sit down and have a go, because once those bobbins get hold of you, you just can't put them down. There's something very meditative about it by moving the bobbins in a controlled manner that makes you lose time. It just disappears.
Right. So it's quite meditative, really.
It is, yes. It's very meditative. And you just forget about everything else that's happening in the world and just lose yourself in lace.
So what have you been
And
making?
it's great to be able
Sorry.
It's great to be able to create something from a simple thread. And the threads can be cotton, silk, string if you want to make big scale. You can use knitting wools for scarves. You can do anything with it.
So what have
right through.
been your projects through lockdown? What have you been creating whilst we've been at home?
I published my second book in lockdown last June. I've been selling those online.
So
I've
the
also,
book, tell us about the book. What's that's involved?
the book is English Books Point lace workbook, and it's a beginner's book for beginners to Books Point, but not necessarily beginners to bobbin lace. So if you already know the 2 stitches and you want to venture into a new type of lace, a new style, it takes you through all the basic techniques to learn that lace.
So you
And
say Bucks Point. What do you mean by Bucks Point?
Bucks Point is a style of lace, like Nottingham lace is made on machines, but Bucks Point is using the same techniques. I haven't got one to hand now. Now you've asked me that. It's a particular style of lace. I generally specialise in Bedfordshire or Bucks Point. The Angel and the Easter egg I've just shown you are both Bedfordshire lace, and there's certain techniques within it and styles. Like you know what Art Nouveau is, but to try and define it is quite difficult.
Right.
But you can recognise it from Art Deco, for instance. There's just styles within it that Bucks Point and Bedfordshire have particular characteristics in.
Yeah, I mean, we had an exhibition a few years ago. That was when I first met you at New College, yes. Nottingham. We had an exhibition we brought together with your handmade bobbin lace and my paintings of manufactured lace. And it was just wonderful to meet you and get to know more about bobbin lace, because I knew absolutely nothing. I know that I'd hung my nose over pillows in a museum and looked at the bobbins and the threads and the pins and the all the beaded bobbins, which really fascinated me visually, but I knew nothing about it. So I've attended quite a lot of your classes, and I'm quite a slow learner, I have to say, but I have certainly got hooked, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And because I was painting lace before actually learning to make it, I realized after I started making lace, I was understanding the movements and the threads and where they travel. And I realized that my painting was sort of getting more detailed, and I started thinking about where I was making the lines, and actually would that be true to the pattern of the lace? So it's really complex when you start to think about it. And I was really pleased that you reminded me the other day that I'd actually made one of those angels, I think without the wings, but I did actually make an angel, which if I can do it, I'm sure a lot of people can, start making lace themselves. So
well, the angel you made was a Russian lace angel, and that only used 8 pairs of bobbins, so you don't need a huge quantity of bobbins to actually make a really nice piece of lace.
Yes, and it's a piece that I'm quite proud of. Well, I was learning to make lace to actually cut up fragments to put on my paintings, which I have started to do, because I was putting manufactured lace, collaging that onto my paintings, and then realised that I didn't want to use the lace. I wanted to make my own. So that's why I started to do the classes with you, and I have put fragments on my paintings. And what I find really interesting, because with this project Legacy of Lace, I'm starting the project with the manufactured lace, which was created mainly on the Lever's lace machines.
Yes.
So as I understand it, the lace that was made on the Lever's lace machines, that was twisting the threads together and weaving them. So is it just replicating really what the bobbin lace maker is making?
It's trying to replicate it. When you know the techniques, you can look at a piece of lace and distinguish whether it is handmade or machine made. There are certain things within it. The picots that you get on the edge, I mean, you've got them on this angel. I don't know whether you can see them on the edge of the wings. They're very looped. They're looped around a pin, and they are quite difficult. They're very different on the machine lace. Even though they may look similar, they are quite distinctly different in appearance. Yeah. And also the woven cloth areas on the machines, they aren't quite a balanced, even weave cloth. They're longer in one, either the warp or the weft. I can't remember which way around it is. And it just doesn't look quite right somehow. It's not a balanced weave. And it doesn't always look as though it's quite woven through in the same way. There's just something about it that you can distinguish those two areas in particular. And of course, in handmade lace, you very often get mistakes, which you don't get in machine lace. If you've got a mistake, it's replicated down the length of lace. In handmade machine lace, it won't be in the same place twice.
Right. Yeah.
So those mistakes help you identify machine lace from handmade as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, I know with when I was coming to classes with having classes with you, I can remember you said earlier that you can make lace with lots of different sorts of threads. But I remember most distinctly the time you were working on a piece with actual gold.
Yes.
Could you tell everybody about that project that you did there?
Yes, it was a project for National Trust for Kedleston Hall in Derby. They were renovating the state bedroom, and I made 30 metres of lace in real gold threads, and it took 18 months. Well, 30 metres, you think, oh, it's just a bit longer than a swimming pool. But to actually sit and make the 30 metres is a long time to make it. It varied between 25 hours and 52 hours a metre.
Wow.
So it was a big, big project. Yeah. And it was challenging because if you imagine how tinsel is, some of the thread was like flat tinsel.
Right.
And quite springy. So that to manipulate it and get it to lay flat within the lace was a challenge. And it was using techniques from the 18th century, which I hadn't used before. And I had to look at the original, draft the original pattern, and then work out how it was done. And it was quite a challenge because there's very little published on the 18th century gold laces.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The only books I've found are in German, and I don't speak German to know what they actually say. And the more a historical reference book than actually telling you how to do it as well.
That's an amazing project to be involved in. And
it was great. And it looks fantastic on the bed now and on the curtains and the overhead tester panels.
I look forward to it opening again and we can go and have a look at it again more closely. Fingers crossed. And another project you were involved in, which is completely different to that, was you had involvement with the design of the frontage of the Nottingham Contemporary Gallery in Nottingham. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about that and how you got involved with it?
That was the first ever commission that I did. Back in 2006, I was at university and I was approached through the Nottingham Bobbin Lace Society by the Costume Museum in Nottingham, which is no longer there, unfortunately, to replicate an 19th century piece of lace from Richard Birkin. And it was to convert the design. It was an edging originally, and they wanted to make it double the width, but 10 times the original scale. So I had to try and replicate that. Again, it was a lace I didn't know anything about at the time. It was machine Valenciennes, which is, again, has very distinct techniques within it. I'm actually currently learning that as a handmade lace now myself. So it's quite interesting. But we ended up producing it on a computer using Photoshop, and it then went off to Germany for the design to be cut into a rubber mat to produce the molds, came back to Nottingham and was cast into concrete panels. And the resulting lace is 1 metre across from a 2-inch sample.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible when you stand in front of the main building, in front of the doors, you can see the pattern above you in the concrete, and it's quite amazing, really, that achievement that you started that.
I think it was 96 concrete panels, and the concrete panels are each up to 11 tons of concrete in them.
Wow.
So, absolutely massive project. But I only did the digital renovation of the design originally, and then I lost sight of it until it actually came into the concrete panels.
Right.
It's quite strange not to be involved in a project right to the end, to actually hand it over, your design work over to somebody else to create the physical product. So I like to be involved right to the end of a project.
Yes, I can imagine. So what was it like going to the Nottingham Contemporary and seeing that for the first time? What was it?
It was fantastic. I mean, I did have a behind the scenes visit to Trent Concrete, who produced the panels, and again, no longer in existence, unfortunately. And I saw the concrete panels being prepared, how the molds were made for them, and the whole production process. And that was quite a fantastic experience to see what they'd actually done with it.
Oh, it'd be amazing. Absolutely wonderful.
And then I went along when they started installing the panels and just took a lot of photographs of that as well.
Yeah, as
That's
you
something I'll
mentioned,
remember seeing again.
that'd be amazing. And as
Yeah.
you mentioned that it was a Birkin lace pattern from that Birkin and Company, I guess. And
Yes.
that was the company, as you know, that my father was a director of manufacturing at Birkin's.
Yeah.
And I did read somewhere that that piece of lace that you worked from was found in a capsule that was
Yes.
buried.
It was buried in a time capsule in 1847 in the foundations of the Water Corporation offices, which are now where Marks and Spencer stand. And it was only discovered when Marks and Spencer's was built. There's a time capsule, and it now resides at Newstead Abbey, the Leicesters.
Oh, wonderful. I wonder if that'll be in the new exhibition at the Nottingham Castle as well.
I don't know.
Is this is it a cherry lace design, if I remember rightly? Was it?
I think that's what they called it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know, it's wonderful. Gosh, there's so much that you've done and achieved, and also, you know, your classes that you deliver have been delivering pre-COVID times. You were doing lots of face-to-face classes in the UK, but also you were started traveling abroad. You got involved. You did some lace for royalty, I believe, if I remember rightly.
Yes, for Denmark, for the Danish royal family for their golden wedding. A couple of years ago now, I made a piece of lace. It was invited by the Danish Lace Guild to make it, to create a piece, and it's called the English Hedgerow. Again, it's a Bedfordshire piece. It was a panel, try to think of the dimensions, about 5 inches wide by 15 inches long, a rectangle of lace, and it featured English dog rose and daisies. And what I didn't realise at the time, Queen Marguerite is nicknamed Daisy, and I put these daisies in the lace. And I had a lovely letter back from a lady in waiting thanking me for the lace some time later, which was really nice to know that a piece of lace is in their collection then.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's wonderful doing golden lace for Kedleston Hall, and then for royalty, and then also you worked your 3D designs. You were talking about you worked with wire at one point as well. Yeah. And you made some incredible contemporary wire structures. I think that was part of your MA course, was it?
Yes, I did an MA completely in contemporary lace. It ended up being all three-dimensional work, worked it mostly in wire. The first piece was mixed media using some laser cutting as well, but mostly in wire. The second year piece was exhibited in the Bowes Museum for 6 months because the inspiration came from there as part of another group I was involved with. And then the final piece was 5 columns of lace in copper wire based on research around plant developments for the 21st century. And they were basically DNA modified plant stems. Wow. The tallest one being 1 metre tall and about 20 centimetres in diameter.
I mean, they were quite impressive because they were the ones you brought to the exhibition at New College Nottingham as well, on the lace market at that time. I think there was a couple of them there, and they were just amazing. It was just wonderful to have my paintings alongside your work. I think it worked really well together. Now we're going to be involved in well, we're going to be in residence at Erewash Museum, as I said, from May to June, and we're all, as part of this Legacy of Lace residency, are going to look at the area of Erewash and look at Nottingham lace, and then take inspiration from the area, from the lace or the stories or anything. Have you got any ideas where your starting points might be? Can you give
we've got to visit the collection at Erewash Museum, and that will be the starting point. I've got 1 or 2 ideas of where I'd like to take some of the designs to, but I don't know what they've got yet to inspire me.
No.
Inspiration comes from all sorts of places. And maybe some of your work might translate into handmade lace as well. I don't know.
Yes, well, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what we do.
It'd be quite nice to do a collaboration piece for one of the pieces, whatever you decide, you know, you're working on, then take it back into more traditional lace as well.
Oh,
Who
that'd be
knows?
wonderful. Yeah. The possibilities are endless. And we've also, we're going to be
I've got 1 or 2 ideas of where I'd like to take them. But...
Oh, wonderful. And we're going to be in residence with Hannah Millard, who's a photographer, and Kerry Pratt, who's an abstract painter, and Kim Fowler, who's an illustrator as well. So, you know, there's going to be quite exciting what we're going to be doing. So if you know, if people have been inspired by what you've been saying today about lace, and they'd like to give it a go, where's the best place for people to start? What do they need to do?
At the moment, it's quite difficult because there's no physical classes. I'm hoping this spring, possibly early summer, to be getting back into delivering classes in Derby again. At the moment, I've got a YouTube channel, which I'm putting new videos out each week, but they aren't really aimed at beginners, although there is a video on there that shows you the whole process as well. Get in touch with me through the website, have a watch at the videos. Lots of things to see and do. And I do run a weekly Zoom meeting on a Thursday afternoon for lace makers to support them. So if they get started, get stuck, they can always join the Zoom meeting and discuss the problems with us there.
Yeah, you kindly invited me to go and talk on your Zoom, Ask Louise Lace Questions. And it's amazing how that's built up over the whole year. And the interest you've got involved. People from all over the world are getting involved with that.
It's nice just to sit and talk lace, because unless you're a lace maker, you don't understand the passion and enthusiasm for it. And some people look at you as though you've got a strange habit doing this lace making thing.
Yeah.
But if you can sit and talk to other lace makers when you're perhaps in isolation, as a lot of the ladies are, if they live at home on their own, it just lifts spirits a lot and solves problems we've got with the lace.
Yeah.
Keeps them motivated, keeps them going, and keeps the passion for lace going in the meantime.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And what about the pieces of lace that you've got displayed on the wall behind you? Are they Bedfordshire or?
The 3 bigger frames, they're Bedfordshire lace, and the little one is Banch. I couldn't even remember what was up there. The 3 bigger pieces, they were designed for an exhibition at Delapre Abbey a couple of years ago, and there is a publication out on the patterns of those. They're still available. And they were all taken from Delapre Abbey, from features within the architecture at the Abbey.
Oh, wow. That's stunning. So with the square largest one, would that have been a design to be put onto a handkerchief?
It would be. Let's just lift it off so we can see it a bit closer.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, stunning.
It was actually taken from a stencil ceiling in one of the rooms.
Right. That's absolutely stunning. I love the floral detail in there. Yeah, that looks great. So that would have been put onto a handkerchief.
Yes, that's what it's designed for.
Yeah. So
but it was a stencil ceiling within the Delapre Abbey. I saw it and was absolutely inspired by it. And the other 2 are both taken from the same ceiling as well.
Right. So it's just amazing, all these different projects you've been doing over the past few years and where your lace has taken you. So thank you very much for talking to us today. And I'm sure I'll have lots more questions for you when I've finished this interview, and maybe we could do another interview at some point. And if anybody's got any questions they've got about bobbin lace making, any questions for Louise, let us know, because you know, it'd be great to sort of get some interaction going and get people making lace and getting involved with lace projects, whether it's making lace or being inspired by lace to make something, you know, whatever. So hopefully this project will get people inspired and talking about lace. So well, thank you, Louise, very much.
Thank you. And in the meantime, have a look at my YouTube channel.
Yes.
Just search for Louise West Lace on there and subscribe so you can see videos coming up each week.
Well, I'm certainly going back on there myself, because I've got quite a lot of bobbins to bead up. So and I've forgotten how to do it. So I'm going to
Yes,
look at
there's a
your
video on
YouTube
how to
video.
spangle them.
Yeah, how to spangle bobbins is my first trip to your YouTube channel. So thank you, Louise, and we look forward to seeing the work you're going to be creating in this project. So
Thank you, Victoria.
have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.